Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. We are living in a digital age where everything you could possibly need is doable with just one small device, your smartphone.
Right.
What we needed many different gadgets to do, we can now accomplish right there from our pockets.
Absolutely. And in the last 20 years alone, VHS tapes, 1-hour photo labs, and phone booths are just some of the things that have almost completely disappeared. Today we wanted to do a little flashback and give you a brief history of some of the things you might find hidden up in the attic or maybe you still have laying around. First up, the PDA. And we aren't talking about public displays of affection. No, we're talking about personal digital assistants. They took the world by storm in the 1990s. Now, PayPal actually got its start on PDAs as an app that let Palm Pilot users exchange money. Of course, it's not hard to see why they faded away.
Right. I guess when Apple released the iPhone in 2007, it just pretty much was integrated in everyday life any way that PDAs actually never could. Palm stopped making the PDAs by 2007, but launched an unsuccessful smartphone called the Palm Pre back in 2009.
Yes.
Just did not catch in. By that time, 2007, you already had the iPhone, so everybody was already talking about that.
It was done by that point.
Yeah, we have to have our music, and all the portable music we have today can be linked back to the phonograph.
This guy, right
And when you think
here.
phonograph, you think of Thomas Edison, right? And we think about the record player. However, the honor of inventing a process that could both record and play back sound went almost simultaneously to two men, the French inventor and poet Charles Cros and Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Now, Cros proposed means of reproducing sounds from another inventor, Scott de Lamartinville's phonograms. He sent as a written concept to the French Academy of Sciences back in April 1877, just weeks before Edison concluded that he could build a machine that would record playback and sound. Into the forefather of the turntable, which was Thomas Edison's phonograph, and he got the patent for it.
Nice. Well, next up is the rotary telephone. The first true rotary telephone appeared in 1892 and was installed in La Porte, Indiana. These early rotary phones used lugs on the finger plate rather than the more recognizable holes that came later. By 1919, companies like the American Bell Company began to roll out a national service for rotary dial telephones. Their golden age was about to begin. Now, in case you're wondering, we didn't miss out the letter Q. It was never usually there. Z, if present, was often included on the zero dial hole.
And you know why? Because Q looks like O.
And people
Z,
would get confused, right? As they're
and Z
doing
looks
their
like
little
2.
spin.
So they knew if they just left those off, that's why you don't see Q or Z on it.
Smart.
All right, well before the Discman, there was the Walkman.
That's right.
It was released in 1979. The Walkman was not much bigger than a cassette tape. The prototype was based on a tape recorder that had been designed for journalists in 1977. Now, the original Walkman, made out of completely aluminum, so it was lightweight. The very first Walkman was actually designed for Sony's co-founder, who wanted to be able to listen to opera music on long flights, and he found that even the smallest of the personal audio players was just still too big to travel. Well, a prototype was quickly made for him, and the Walkman was born. It had different names in different parts of the world, including the Soundabout, the Freestyle, but in the early 1980s, only the name Walkman remained,
it's
into
a
Discman
classic.
as well.
It's an absolute classic.
You have to have one back
I
then.
know. Well, the thing I had to have was always my iPod. Lastly, we're going to journey way back in time. The iPod may have seemed revolutionary, but it got its start back in 1979 when British inventor Kane Kramer created the first digital audio player called the IXI, which was able to play about one song. The prototype was shelved when Kramer couldn't market it successfully and his patent expired in 1988. And the iPod wasn't exactly the first of its kind. There was actually 6 other MP3 players on the market when Apple's players debuted. But in the first iPod promotional video, DJ and musician Moby said he owned 3 and couldn't figure out how to use any of them. With the iPod, he said he held it and 45 seconds later he knew how to use it. I remember one of those was the Zune. Do you remember that?
Yes.
There were these massive brick-looking things.
Z-U-N-E, I think.
I
and
love
different
the
versions of
iPod.
the iPod down there.
And now they've discontinued it, which is amazing to me because I literally still use them to listen to music and everything.
You could store information on it still. It's like
Yeah.
just a portable disc as well. You can keep stuff on it. Really cool stuff. A little journey back as we do a daily flashback. We'll have more good stuff coming our way and your way too. Stick around. You're watching Daily Flash.